I'm Narelle Todd.
And I'm Essie Susan Smith.
We are the self-publishing author and marketing duo that has sold over 2 million books. But we didn't start out knowing how to sell books. Fast forward past many failed promotions and a lot of lessons learned, you will see how we went from self-publishing newbies to hitting the New York Times bestsellers list and making the USA Today bestsellers list 19 times and counting. We created the Get My Book Out There podcast to give you simple yet effective marketing strategies to increase readership and book sales so you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, as well as some tips for staying mentally and physically well.
Let's get started.
And we're coming to you today talking about stores. So your own store where you get to control the world and everything in it. Well, within that store anyway.
Or at least you think you are.
Yes. But like everything, yeah, exactly. So Susan has her own store and she's going to share with us today what we put a bit of a spin on it. So we're calling it the ugly, the bad and the good of having your own store. And, you know, the benefits, some of the things you need to be aware of when you are starting out. So Susan, the ugly, the bad and the good of having your own store. What can you share with us? Should we have a store to start with? What do you think?
Why does even the mention of it make me think of, the old Clint Eastwood Western, and I've got that theme song playing. It's almost worse than having the Jaws theme. You should mix the Clint Eastwood and the Jaws and kind of just put them together when you decide to do your own store and wonder why your hair turns gray. Actually, it's not that bad. But there are some ugly parts to it and then some bad parts, but there's also some good parts. And I guess to me, the ugly part would be trying to find a store that matches you. You're going to have a bit of a learning curve unless you use some of the print on demand type stores. Like I love Society 6. The quality of their material and merchandise is fabulous. And that is a whole lot easier to do. And you can do very well on it if you're willing to put the time and the marketing and stuff in and create all of the designs. So, being an author, and then luckily I have a lot of designs, as you can tell from behind me, that go with my stories, and I've been gathering and developing them so that I can use them in Society 6 and other stores like, was it Zazzle?
Yes, Zazzle. Yes.
Yes. Well. So there are the print on demand stores out there. So that's one of the places that I would look at. But it can be very time consuming, which for anyone who's an author realizes time is like your best friend and your worst enemy at the same time, because it's your best friend when you have it and your worst enemy when you're running short of it, which seems to happen more and more and more. And I currently have my store at Society 6, and then I also have Selz, SELZ.com, and Selz has recently been purchased by Amazon, so it will be interesting to see how it goes. And I think one of the ugly parts of having your own store is worrying about what's going to happen to it if Amazon decides, okay, we're gonna close it down, or what are they going to do with it? Because I've spent years adding material to it. So I have all of my swag available there, my books, my ebooks, audiobooks. So it has been one of those things that I've slowly built up, and I have, hundreds of items in there, and, put the descriptions and all of that. So it can be very time consuming, and you have to keep that up, as you're going along.
So one of the first questions you would be asking yourself then by the sounds is, should you set up your own store, which you can do through Selz or like Shopify would be another example, WooCommerce would be another, or do you use a store that's already out there that's print on demand? You don't have to worry about stock or anything. They handle all of that. It all just gets printed when it's ordered. But I presume the difference would be then that with something like Society 6, they would keep a certain proportion of your sell, whereas if it's your own store, you keep everything, but you're also making the product if there is one, or sourcing it, or you've got to store it. So probably the costs add up quite similar when you factor all those things in. You've got to, when it's your own store, you're thinking of postage, so you've got that having to prepare it, whereas somebody doing it for you.
Sales tax.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so and shipping, where the new current EU laws have changed. So shipping and VAT is where they actually want you to go through a third party. And I had to quit selling internationally through my store because of the changes that the EU have done. So it wasn't financially feasible for me to pay a monthly fee to a third party to handle all of that goes to the different countries that I would sell to. So that was, very disappointing. And that was just a recent change. So when you're dealing with a company that's as big as Society 6, they handle all of that for you. And the cool thing about them is they also have like sales. So you can have like 30% off, and then they'll sometimes offer worldwide shipping and free worldwide shipping, which is like always
Wow.
super nice. So there's a lot of positives to that. Downside is that you can't sell your books. So you can't sell your ebooks or your books that way. So, but weighing both of them, there's a lot of products that Society 6 can offer that doesn't make sense for you to try to make yourself, or you can't feasibly do it. And then again, like you said, with the shipping and all of the VAT changes, it's nice to let somebody else have to worry about that and you not have that one more thing on your shoulders.
Yeah. So when you are working out what store to go with or how to actually set it up, what the model is you're going to use, you will need to do your research into, if you're going to go international, what are the rules? Because you have to abide by each area's rules, even though, you may be based for you in the US. So of course you've got to abide by their rules, but you also have to abide by EU, by Australia, the UK. They all have I guess special rules and considerations, could be around money or customs, all sorts of different things. So you need to be aware of that if you are creating your own store.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it put you off, but research it. Know what the expectations are.
Do your homework.
Yes.
And decide, is it financially feasible for you?
Yeah. And you may find to start with that going with a store that's already out there like Society 6 is the right option for you, so that you can get some of your merchandise out there and have available, and you can send to people, put in your newsletters, promote on your website, all those sorts of things. So, but just be aware of what's required.
So now we go to the bad.
Okay.
And the bad is, again, if you're looking at doing the merchandise yourself, then you need to have room, either to create or to store all of this, and then to do order fulfillment. So think of yourself as like a mini Etsy, mini Amazon. This is something else that you're going to have to look at. Are you going to do this? And if you are, do you have the room for it? Do you have the manpower to handle it? And, do you want to take this on in addition to your writing? Is it going to be worth taking time away from your writing? Are you going to make enough to make the store worthwhile having?
So what do you think with regards to time? And then I'll circle back to storage and stuff like that. Time-wise, how long does it take to run a store? Like, what would you say each week you'd be investing in your store, or having somebody else? Because I know you.
I think that if you want it to be successful, and that means you're going to have to do the marketing. And when you market, you do sell. Of course, so they go hand in hand. When you don't market, you're less likely to sell. But if you were to do marketing, you could look at anywhere from, 10 to 20 hours a week.
Wow.
And, because you've got to remember, it's also, you're going to have to add the stuff to the store. You're going to have to make sure that you have the merchandise either made or capable of making it. Then the packaging of it up and getting everything sent off.
Yeah. And refunds, I guess, potentially.
And the designing, and that's where a lot of the time takes, is when you're actually creating the designs from, whether it's your logo or characters or whatever, you have to have those designs, and then each design has to be able to fit on each individual product. So, if you've got, say, a chapstick holder, that keychain, that's going to be a different size than what you're going to put on your cups or your travel mugs or, a blanket or anything else that you may do.
So having some graphic design experience is probably going to be helpful then if you're doing things yourself.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Or if you hire somebody to do it, and then you have to make sure, is the money that I'm paying to have this done, am I able to make enough through my store to pay for them, plus the
Yeah.
materials, plus the time, and make a profit?
Just a few things to think of.
Just a few. It's
storage
literally
wise.
another business. And that's what a lot of people don't think. It's actually, you've got the title of your company up here, and then you've got this part, which is your writing, and this part, which would be your marketing, and this part would be your store. And, so every time you do something different, it's like adding another business under this umbrella of you being the author.
And I think that part of that is it's always good to diversify just from a business model perspective, because it gives you another income stream. So if, say, writing falls off a cliff, or your book sales falls off a cliff one month, you may pick up the balance of that, say, in merchandise sales.
Exactly.
So it's good, but it's also, I think, important, as you say, to remember that this is another strand or another silo in your business. So you do need to factor in time to get it set up, to give it time to actually grow, and all of those sorts of things like you would do for a new business.
Yeah, think of yourself as a puzzle, and then each piece of that puzzle is a business idea and a possible stream of income. But again, it's a piece of you that's being focused somewhere else than on your writing or the core part of your business, which is what actually helps bring in money. But again, if you do it right and you have a good store and you have a successful one and you do the marketing, then you can be making a decent income, monthly income that comes in to help supplement your writing, so that because everyone knows that writing is cyclical. So
Yes.
You'll have your up months and your down months, so you're going to be going up and down. So this kind of help fills in for those low months and gives you a little bit of added ones, so that you can either reinvest into your business, or that you've got that rainy day fund set aside.
Yeah. And it's important, and we've done a podcast on this before too, around blocking time out, so that it's actually a conscious decision each week to spend time with your store. So whatever it is, block time out. If it's in your calendar, that it's important. You're going to give yourself that reminder that, yes, I have to go do this. So it becomes a must do in your business, rather than something that just sits off to the side, because that's not going to work. So go look for that podcast on time blocking and how to manage your time as an author.
This is the organizational part that comes in handy.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so storage, we'll finish off on this thought on this one. So you do need to factor in storage if you're creating your own stuff. And I guess storage will depend on what kind of things you're creating, obviously.
And I guess this comes to the good part.
Tell us the good.
And
Bring
for
it on.
me, the good part is it's another creative outlet. It's another way to diversify, which is, one of the things that you said. By being able to offer these items, there's nothing that can stop you from doing a vendor table at a convention. So maybe you can have this stuff on sale. Maybe use Society 6 for most of your sales. And then if you want, you can do, the vendor tables. You can do something else that helps get you out there, because being an author can be a very lonely place if you're always in your office. And having another way to add to your creativity is always, to me, a good thing, because one creativity feeds to the next one, which feeds to the next one. So this may be items that you take with you as swag, to hand out to readers at a convention, and it's very unique, and they're not, they're going to keep that. They're going to remember that this is stuff that was specially made for them. But you can also do, like I said, a vendor table. If there is like in our community and many other communities, they have fall festivals where you can offer it as gifts. They have the monthly farmers market, where they have the farmers markets, so that you can have a table there, and you can have your books and you can have these items that you can sell. So, the store doesn't necessarily, it's great to be able to offer it internationally or even to the region where you're living, but think also outside of the box. Think, how can you get your name out there locally? And for, if you live in an area where people are coming and going, and it's kind of a tourist area, then it's a great way to help promote your books, help promote who you are. And people are going to be more drawn if they see something other than just books. If they see these books and then this really cool swag, this coffee cup with a dragon on it or dragling, they're gonna gravitate towards you, and they're gonna say, oh, this jewelry, I was this last weekend, I saw some amazing items at the convention that I was at, both on author tables and at the vendor booths that were outside of the book signing. So think outside of the box, help bring that added revenue. But as you're bringing that revenue, you're also diversifying and you're also promoting yourself. People are going to be out there with your stuff, with your name on it.
Yeah, it's a great idea, I think, about being local, because often we think it's just about being online.
Yes.
But it is actually, going to a farmer's market, getting a table there, getting in front of people. So for some of our more introverted authors, the very thought of that could be as scary as all heck. But think of it as a way as it's warming you up for going to reader conventions and stuff like that, where you need to be in front of readers. So you can start locally at the farmer's market. You can be selling a few bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of writers groups. So a lot of the writers groups get together with a couple of authors and, say, let's rent a booth and do this for the weekend and see how it goes. And you may find that hanging with them and doing this is so rewarding that it becomes like, let's do it every Saturday, or whenever the farmer's market is, let's do it there. And again, you're dealing with the local market, which you would be surprised at how many local people will come in, and then people from out of town, and then you'll get somebody will tell somebody else, and next thing you know, you get these invites to other places to go as a guest speaker, or people are checking out your website, and then they see you've got this store in Society 6 and they're buying stuff, and it can snowball. So think, I guess that's the best thing. The good thing is just think outside of the box and don't limit yourself.
And I love your comment that you made about creativity, boosting creativity. I think, in particular, if you've got some kind of writer's block or something's just not working, just taking time out and doing something else, whether it's, say, going outside and just being in nature, so something completely different than in front of your computer, or actually going and doing something else creative, such as designing, some merchandise. That just all kind of, gets your head in the right space so you can come back to your writing and you're fresh, and you probably have worked out whatever was going on that was stopping you from a certain scene or the writing or, the dialogue.
And you're less likely to feel guilty because you're still working on your business.
Yes.
So.
And the other important thing was the marketing. So this is not about you just opening a store and, open it and people will come. That doesn't work, except maybe in the movies. So this is about you needing to actually put marketing effort and focus onto your store as well as onto your writing. So keep that in mind to factor that in. So, and it needs to be regular. You can't just, once again, just do a bit of marketing here and there. You need to keep it. So every week you're going to be needing to do something that's promoting your store and the products that you have.
And just keep building on it slowly. You don't have to have everything out there all at once. Keep building on it, keep adding products. That's basically what most stores do, is they begin adding. Some you'll see will sell a little bit better than others. So you may want to offer a few more items in that area.
Yeah. Been brilliant, Susan. Thank you. I think we've all got a bit of a better idea about, the store and what we need to think of in just getting started, and then the things that we can do to actually help make it successful. Okay, well, everyone, go ahead, consider the stores. If you think that's going to be right for you, have a look at them. Check out the things that you need to do. So be aware of your legal responsibilities around the world or in your area if you're just staying local. And then, if it's the right thing for you, give it a try, test it, see what happens. It's the best way to find out. So thanks, everyone. See ya.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. We've got way more information we want to share with you to increase your book sales. So please come and join me at facebook.com. Get my book out there.